Miko Zilla. Miko Zilla. Hello, welcome back to my channel and another episode of Organizing Sounds Through Time, which is another way of me welcoming you to our second annual Top 10 Albums of the Year video. Last year was our first year doing this in 2020, and now, unbelievably, it's already almost the end of 2021, so I thought it would be a good time to go back in the year and look at some of our favorite music to be released this year. As always, these videos are based on my opinion only, and just like last year, I will be talking about these albums in order of release date. And they're not in any particular order other than just chronological. Alright, so we are just gonna get right into it today, and the first album on my list did not get released until all the way in May of 2021. So I don't know what was going on at the beginning of 2021. Apparently nobody wanted to release good music. But on May 21st, one of my all-time favorites, like one of my biggest inspirations, Queen Herbie released her debut album, which was entitled A Woman. Now, I've talked about Queen Herbie on my channel before, but for those of you who don't know, she is a completely independent artist. Her and her husband, who produces all the beats for her, have just built this brand of Queen Herbie up from basically nothing. And this is, of course, after their days in the band Carmen, which you guys might remember from their song Broken Hearted. Anyway, Queen Herbie had started making a name for herself by releasing a bunch of EPs, and this was her first full-length debut album that had come out, so it was a very exciting time. Some of my favorite songs from the album would be Celine Dion, Faster, Balenciaga Dreams, Naughty Girl, and Black Sheep. But my all-time favorite on the album has got to be Juice. One of my favorite things about Queen Herbie is how versatile she is. She can sing just as good as any of the other R&B girls out there, as good as any of the pop girls out there, and she can rap like crazy too. She can rap just as fast as like Busta Rhymes. That was even one of her more viral songs from the EP era, was entitled Busta Rhymes. And Juice is the total package as far as rap ability, her singing, it's all in there. These verses are insanely fast, so well written, they're catchy, they're funny. It's just a phenomenal song, and the video is also great, so I highly, highly, highly recommend A Woman. Queen Herbie's just amazing. I love how she's a strong female. She just really represents femininity and feminism. She's just phenomenal. Can't recommend that enough. Number 2 on my list was released on June 25th, 2021. Are there any guesses out there? Planet Her by Doja Cat. Now, last year we had Chromatica, Lady Gaga's own Planet, and then we get introduced to Planet Her in 2021. And my biggest question is, are they in the same solar system? Is there intergalactic trade between Planet Her and Chromatica? Is this a cinematic universe? Only time will tell. For real, I absolutely loved Planet Her. It kind of took me by surprise because I was always, you know, kind of a Doja Cat fan. I like some of her music here and there, but she really took the world by storm with Planet Her. This album was so phenomenal from start to finish, and again, Doja Cat's one of those artists that shows so much versatility, but she's always unapologetically herself. I love how weird she is. I love the quirky fashion. I love how much she represents kind of like Gen Z and their fashion and kind of just like the future. Anyway, needless to say, I loved Planet Her. Some of my favorite songs are I Don't Do Drugs featuring Ariana Grande, You Right featuring The Weeknd, Options featuring JID, Need to Know, and Kiss Me More by SZA, which never fails to put me in a good mood. But out of all of these amazing songs and all the other songs on Planet Her I didn't mention, my favorite one is Get Into It, Yeah. It is so infectious and catchy, and I don't even know what it is about the song. I just absolutely love it. It is such a bop and such a vibe. Phenom. So moving on from Planet Her, we are going into July 16th, 2021, which is when one of my all-time favorite artists, Willow, released her new album, Lately I Feel Everything. This was Willow's foray to kind of the pop punk sphere. Of course, she had done an album the year prior called The Anxiety, where it starts getting really punk, and this album, Lately I Feel Everything, really honed in on that even more and kind of perfected the sound. I really love pop punk music growing up. That was like a big part of what I was always listening to. You know, I'd be listening to like Chiodos and Alisana, Escape the Fate, Pierce the Veil, all these great pop punk bands that I used to listen to. So this album kind of gave me nostalgia, and at the same time it's like so modern though, and I just really love Willow's songwriting. It will always be so phenomenal, and I'm really happy to see her starting to get more recognition this year. I'm actually getting to see Willow next year. She's opening up for Billie Eilish in February in Buffalo, New York, so I will get to see Willow and Billie Eilish in the same night, and I'm gonna die. I'm probably gonna cry so much, just pure joy. Anyway, if you have not heard Lately I Feel Everything, it's amazing, and I love how the acronym for it is LIFE. Some of my favorite songs on this album were Transparent Soul, which I actually did do a cover of on my channel, Gaslight, Naive, Grow, and Don't Save Me. Out of all the songs on the album though, my absolute favorite is Forever. Such a beautiful song. I love the lyrics of this album. I love the general vibe. It's perfection to me. It's probably number 2. If I were to rank them by my actual favorites, this probably like right up there in the number 2 slot. Moving right along, we are going to talk about an album released on July 23rd. This is Rainbow Brain by Grizz. I really love Grizz, and I've had the chance to see Grizz live a couple times now, and I've seen both Grizz DJ set and Grizz live band, which is way funkier and like more of a festival type of feel. Either show you see, if you see Grizz DJ set or Grizz live band, you are in for a show. This is an artist that really knows how to have fun and just got this really fun funk EDM vibe going on. It's very colorful, it's vibrant, all the songs are unique. And if you listen to Rainbow Brain front to back, it really does play smoothly. All the transitions are amazing, and you're just in for a fun time if you're gonna listen to this album. Get ready to dance and just have a general great moment. Some of my favorite songs from this album are the title track, Rainbow Brain, Vibe Check, Astro Funk, Tie-Dye Sky, and Other Side of Jupiter. But my favorite song would be Burn Up the Floor. It is such a dirty, heavy fucking drop. I love EDM, so this was like a big fun moment for me this year was, oh, Grizz dropped his album. Amazing. Moving on, and this should be no surprise to anyone, but the album released on July 30th, probably my favorite album to be released this year. And if anybody's surprised by this, I don't know why. You probably haven't been watching my channel long enough, but it's Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. This was, of course, Billie's sophomore album. I waited for this album so long. The day it got released, I waited up till midnight, popped my headphones in, and listened to this album from start to finish, because there's only so many times in your life that your favorite artists release a new album, and you gotta do it the justice of just listening to it front to back. Just a quick side note, all of these albums I'm talking about today, I would definitely recommend listening to from front to back. That is how I prefer to listen to music in general. I know everybody's not the same way as me, so I do like to point out specific songs that I like in particular, but any of these front to back are just great, phenomenal albums. Back to talking about Happier Than Ever, I really was so excited for this because Billie's one of my biggest inspirations, one of my favorite artists out there, and I feel like she really has grown so much, even from her last album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Her songwriting has matured, she's so much more confident in her voice and her talent and just her personality, and it really shines through the lyrics. And her and Phineas, who's her brother and also produces the music, they both just did a really good job of making this album feel like the next level Billie Eilish. Like, it's undeniably her style, but at the same time it's so different and a new direction for her, so it's really fun. And as a fan, like, you know, of course it doesn't really get better than that. Some of my favorite tracks from the album would have to be Goldwing. I love the a cappella vocals at the beginning that basically get remixed in the second half of the song. I love the lyrics. Happier Than Ever, the title track, of course. The first time I heard this song, I was blown away by the second half. I did not see it coming at all. It's such a powerful moment, and this is probably my favorite song for the whole year to come out. If I'm talking critically, that song blew me away. I also really loved NDA, of course. I did an NDA Therefore I Am music video. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I also really love the songs Overheated and Male Fantasy. I think they have really strong lyricism. My personal favorite, I couldn't even choose one. It's a tie between I Didn't Change My Number and Oxytocin. Both of these songs give me life. I feel like I astral project and I'm just like vibing when I listen to these songs. Cannot get enough. I love them so much. I love them, you guys. Alright, anyway, we'll move on from that, and I want to talk about the album that came out on August 6th, which was 333 by Tinashe. I have been a Tinashe fan since college when I first heard 2 On. Really appreciate Tinashe's dancing, and I guess I kind of just like fell off a little bit, but when this album promo started coming out for 333, I started getting back into her and just really realizing what a diverse and like unique artist she is. I never knew for the longest that she produces a lot of her own music, and she's a completely independent artist now as well. I particularly loved the promotional images and the album artwork for this album were just so beautiful, and this album is very ethereal, it's very witchy, but it's still undeniably Tinashe. It has this unique swagger about it, and nobody else could have made this album except for her. I can't talk it up enough. Go do yourself a favor and listen to this album from start to finish. I know I said that earlier, but like this is one of them on this list that like absolutely should be listened to front to back. It's so good. Some of my favorite songs would be Shy Guy, X, Angels, Bouncin' Part 1 and 2, really, and Pasadena, but my absolute favorite is I Can See the Future. It is such a vibe. We're moving right along, and we're gonna talk about the album that came out on September 17th. This was Montero! Woo! Lil Nas X's long-awaited debut album did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. I'm so grateful to have an artist like Lil Nas X be at the forefront of the music scene right now. I think it's so important that we have someone who's visibly queer and a person of color making such big waves in the music scene and to the culture in general. He can't do anything without it starting this huge discussion, and I just think he's already proven himself to be so iconic and a figure in music that will be remembered forever. I truly cannot speak enough to his talent and just what a phenomenal artist. As a queer person, I'm so grateful to have him. And the music fucking slaps. And you know what else? People really like to pigeonhole him into being, oh, just a rapper, or oh, he's just a pop star, but he can do it all. And even within that, he's shown diversity, especially on this album. A lot of the songs are a lot darker and more like real than I was expecting. Songs like Void and Life After Salem are just so dark but relatable and meaningful, and I think those types of songs can really help people. And then you have amazing party songs like Industry Baby. So just to run down some of my favorites, of course, Industry Baby, Montero, Call Me By Your Name. I mean, hello, that music video changed the world. Sun Goes Down, I absolutely love. Void, Life After Salem, and Dead Right Now. But my all-time favorite is Scoop. That song is such a party vibe. I love it so much. It's fun to just like jam out to it in the car and sing along. It's great. We're gonna go move right along again to an album that was released on September 24th. This is maybe an unexpected choice, but this is the album entitled Flux by Poppy, YouTube's own Poppy. Hi, I'm Poppy. Now, I really got heavily into Poppy this past year. Particularly her album I Disagree is my favorite, but I love that one, and her album Am I a Girl from 2019. But the album that came out this year is of course Flux, and I really truly do enjoy this album. It's got this pop rock type of feel, and it's a little bit more toned down from 2020's I Disagree that was a little bit heavier, a little bit more metal pop, but this one is more smooth. On I Disagree, it would hop between heavy metal, screamo type thing to this disgustingly sweet pop vibe, and both sections would be in the same song, so you have this contrast going on. But on the new album, Flux, it's more like flat, consistent vibe of like pop rock, and it's kind of a little bit in a new direction, but still in the same direction that her music has been going in the past several years, which I really enjoy. I was hesitant to be a Poppy fan for the longest time just because of all the conspiracy theories out there on YouTube about her and stuff, but I finally just gave in, and I have to say, I'm a huge Poppy fan. If you're looking to get into her, Flux is actually kind of a good entry point into her music, and some of my favorite songs are So Mean, the title track Flux, Lessen the Damage, and of course my favorite, which is called On the Level. On the Level is just like kind of a happier vibe than most of the Poppy songs, and it's kind of giving me like a little bit of a Paramore After Laughter era type of sound, which I really enjoy, so that's why it's my favorite one. Alright, we have two more albums to talk about on my top 10 list for 2021. This next one was released on October 15th, and it is Optimist by Phineas. Phineas is obviously Billie Eilish's brother. He produces her music, and he produces music for other artists as well, and of course for himself, so why wouldn't I be a huge fan of Phineas's solo music? He's got the lyricism, the musicianship, the vocal range. He doesn't really get enough credit for how good of a vocalist he himself is. So I loved hearing this new album from him, and I got deep into some of the music. I will say it's a little bit harder to get into the Phineas music than Billie's music, but once you get there, these songs kind of become addictive. they kind of hit you out of nowhere as like, oh yeah, that song is in my head constantly. And just phenomenal. All the songs have a different vibe and feeling to them, and they feel very uniquely Phineas, which he does have a distinctly different perspective from Billie and from other artists that he works with, so it's cool to see the things that he puts in his music and when the creative choice is all him. Some of the songs that I really enjoy from this album would be Happy Now, The Kids Are All Dying, The 90s, Medieval, and my absolute favorite, Hurt Locker. Do yourself a favor, just listen to this album front to back. These songs will grow on you and you will really enjoy them, I promise. Before we get to the last album on the list, I just want to go through some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the top 10, but were highly enjoyable bodies of work from 2021. And those would include Shockwave by Marshmello, The End of an Era by Iggy Azalea, A Liquid Breakfast by Audrey Nuna, and Hello Queen by Queen Herbie. And now, without any further ado, we'll be talking about the final album on my top 10 list from 2021, which is, drumroll please, Something for the Hotties by Megan Thee Stallion, which was released October 29th, so right before Halloween. This album dropped, it was a bop, it was a vibe. As you know from last year's video when I talked about Good News, I've become a really huge Megan Thee Stallion fan, and I've always really enjoyed her freestyles. So the fact that she took all of these amazing freestyles that she already had on hand and put them into a full album for us, the hotties, the fans, is very cool, very special. I love these songs, and Megan is just so talented. Congrats on graduating college too, girl. She just graduated college. She's just incredibly talented, wonderful, deserving of all the praise and accolades. Some of my favorite songs from Something for the Hotties would be Freakend, Kitty Cat, of course Thought Shit, and Megan Monday Freestyle. But my favorite one is Eat It, because it's just so dirty and raunchy. Everything about this album is great. The beats are phenomenal, the bars are phenomenal, the skits are funny. It's a good time front to back. It's great music to just put on when you're cleaning the house or cooking, you're doing errands. It will get you hyped up and in the mood to get these tasks done, just like Megan getting these college degrees done. And good for you, Queen. We stan. Well, there you have it. Those were the top 10 albums of 2021 according to me, Miko Zilla. Let me know in the comments if I missed any of your favorite albums to be released this year. I'd really like to know what you guys have been listening to in this past year. Just as a quick life update, I did start working a new job back in October, and I am also in a band now, and I've been working on original music, so I haven't had quite as much time to put into my YouTube videos, but fear not, I'm not going anywhere and I will continue to upload. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss any of my content in the future, make sure to subscribe at the link down below and hit the notification bell to receive notifications for every time I upload. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if you really like me. We have some fun over on those platforms, especially Twitter, where I'm the most active, so check it out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Oh god, look at the time. I gotta get ready for Diddy's white party, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.